As we just heard, many people like to be thought as being both reasonable and emotional. In many ways, we are both. If you look at our evolution, we are a mix of the two. So today I'm going to talk about how we've evolved, why we've evolved the way we've evolved, then reason and why it's a useful tool, but at the same time why reason can be misused in many ways, and one of the best ways to help people misuse reason. First, evolution. If you look at it from the purely physical perspective, we evolved from primates. What's the best thing for primates to do when you're a hunter-gatherer? Ideally, the male is as fast as possible, sees as far as possible, is as strong as possible. 2 million years we've spent evolving. Yet, if you look at us 2 million years, are men really where they could be? Think where men on average could be if we only bred for speed, for strength, and for distance vision. Men are kind of sad if you look at it. We have our superstar athletes, but in general most men can see pretty well. But think how much better they could see if for 2 million years we only bred for good vision. Men are pretty strong. But think where men could be if for 2 million years we only bred for strength. 2 million years, how much is that? It's about 100,000 generations. So 100,000 generations, if we only bred for strength, speed, and anything that helps us become a hunter-gatherer, we've failed miserably. What caused that problem? Logically and rationally, that's what we should have done. At the same time, females should have been set up to produce as many children as quickly as possible. Because back then, you had a massive death rate. Because we had all kinds of predators that are way stronger than we were, that could eat us at a moment's notice. So really, the best thing would have been women that could produce multiple children as many times as possible. We didn't get there either. What happened? One of the approaches, or one of the ideas, is simply that we're not completely reasonable. Why? If you're a woman, do you really want to just breed with guys that are really strong, really fast? Because in general, they're not going to be that smart. In the sense that most strong, fast men are not going to be into the arts. They're not going to really be into conversation. They're not really going to be worried about flower arranging or relating to flower arranging or how colors mesh. So women decided, you know what? I'm not just going to breed with those big, strong guys. There is an advantage to breeding with them. They probably are more effective hunting and gathering. But what's the other problem? The other problem they found was the really strong hunter-gatherers, the studly men, they tend to be less loyal to their female partners. So you may breed with a really strong guy, but he'll probably leave you. And he may leave you and your kids stuck without food. So, do I stick with the logical, rational, and just go with the men that breed the best or the strongest? Or do I switch and say, you know what, I'm going to favor these guys over here. They may not be the strongest, they may not be the fastest, but they'll probably stick with me. And one of the important things of producing, especially over time, is raising the children. If you're going to have a great genetic model who comes and helps you generate the child but won't help support it, what value is there in that? So that's one theory as to why we're not completely rational, why we've not bred to be elite physical specimens. All right, let's accept that. Let's accept that as reasonable. So now we are this mix of reason and emotion, both men and women. Obviously, women are viewed as being more emotional because men in general define what is emotional and what is not. But if you really step back and ask women where they start from, where are you starting from when you start your logical process of thought? How many men have actually talked to women and said, where are you starting from? How did you arrive at your conclusion? So I used to be very dismissive of women. I thought they're stupid. They come up with these ridiculous conclusions. Why do they talk that way? Until my mother said, have you ever asked them where they start from? Because what is logic? What is reason? Logic and reason are starting from point A, based on certain information, moving to point B, moving to point C. Example. All men have long hair. Ken does not have long hair. Therefore, Ken is not a man. Logically, that makes total sense. But is it true? No. Logic and reason are a tool. They allow you to move from point A to point B. But that's all it does. As someone said, I would rather not have a leader who's all mental and no heart. Why is that? Because if I'm a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Right? If this is the only tool I have, I'm going to try to smash everything with it. If reason is the only tool I have, I'm going to be limited in what I can arrive at, in what I can do with my reason. It's a tool, it's a useful tool, but the third point that I wanted to make is, what are you using as your basis? On what basis am I building this tool? What pieces am I using to be logical? Like I said, all men have long hair. Ken does not have long hair, therefore Ken's not a man. My data is incorrect. And that is where in today's world we have problems. A lot of things are presented as data and as facts. Yet are they really? The politicians tell us. Obama tells us Romney's bad. He's only worried about the 1%. Is that true? We know he's with 1%, but is he bad? We don't know. But we can take the pieces that he gave us, and if we follow those pieces, it makes sense that Romney's bad. But if we focus on the information, make sure that the information we're getting is good information, then being reasonable and rational is a good thing. But if too often we let others tell us what data to use in feeding into the tool that is reason, we're in big trouble. Am I reasonable? Am I rational? Am I emotional? Only you can answer those questions. Only you can decide whether to use reason. In the end, it all comes down to your data. Mr. Desmond.